The Florida Everglades, a shallow, slow-moving river and one of the most unique ecosystems on Earth. It's home to manatees, wading birds, and yeah, lots of gators. In fact, this is the only place on the planet where alligators and crocodiles live side by side in the same environment. And today, I'm hopping on an airboat to chase gators, explore a hidden village, and meet a 55-year-old Everglades legend. This is Miccosukee Airboat Rides and Indian Village on the Tamiami Trail, the little two-lane road that slices straight through the heart of the Everglades. And just a few minutes down the road is Shark Valley, home to one of the best observation towers in Everglades National Park. From up top, you can see gators, wading birds, and miles of sawgrass prairie stretching to the horizon. It makes a great little side trip if you're already out here. And when you're in Florida, you've got a few choices for things to do, often involving theme parks or giant reptiles. And today I went with the one that hisses at boats and guards its nest like Fort Knox. Admission here includes an airboat ride through the Everglades, a cultural village, a little museum, and even a gator habitat. So basically, this is just about the most Florida thing you can ever do without getting into a brawl at a Panama City Waffle House at 3 a.m. And there are actually a bunch of different airboat operators along the stretch of the Tamiami Trail. You'll see a bunch of them as you drive, but we went with the Miccosukee because we thought it was the best bang for your buck. You get all this for just about 30 bucks. So if you're planning on ever doing this, I will even put a link in the description with a coupon code to save you even more money. That way you can see the gators, keep a little bit of money in your pocket, and that is even a great way to support the channel. All right, let's do this thing. First up, the airboat ride. An airboat is basically a swamp Ferrari. Flat bottom, giant fan, no brakes. This thing was first invented way back in 1905, which I was really surprised to learn. And even more surprisingly, it was invented in Nova Scotia, Canada. Who would have thunk it? There's a little bit of odd trivia for you. But in Florida, it becomes the ultimate way to explore the river of grass. The Miccosukee have been using these things since the 1940s, and they're still the best way to get around out here. And let me tell you, once this fan kicks in, it's like sticking your head out of a car window at 50 miles an hour. Except you're also wondering if an alligator might jump in your lap. Probably won't, I wouldn't worry about that too much, but the sound is almost deafening. They're gonna give everybody some earplugs to wear, and you are definitely gonna wanna use them. Honestly, riding this thing is like sitting in the front row of a metal concert, except the headliner is just a jet engine strapped to a small boat. After a few minutes, we slowed down near an area where our guide pointed out a nest. He mentioned a particularly aggressive female gator who lives in this area that was protecting its nest, and he said we'd get a little bit closer for photos, which sounds kind of like the start of a really bad Florida Man headline, doesn't it? Hey Earl, let's get even closer to the aggressive gator. And sure enough, she snapped at us as we cruised by, and I actually caught it on video. Right there is 2,000 pounds of bite force warning us to keep away. And a bit later, we stopped to check out a group of newly hatched baby gators swimming around out here, and learned that a group of gators is called a congregation. I think that one needs a little bit of work. It's a bit basic for me, not nearly as colorful as a murder of crows or a fever of stingrays, but my favorite, crash of rhinos. Love that one. Halfway through, we stopped at a Miccosukee native village right in the swamp. These palm-thatched huts are called chickees, open-sided, no nails, built to keep cool in the brutally hot and humid South Florida summers. The Seminole and Miccosukee people retreated deep into the Everglades here during the 1800s Seminole Wars, and villages like this blended right into the landscape, making them almost impossible to find. And out here is where we met the star of this part of the swamp. That right there is Momma, a 55-year-old gator who's been living under this dock for decades. She's massive, pretty calm, and apparently the most famous local around here. 55 years in the same spot? That sounds like someone's idea of Florida retirement goals, but instead of golf and pickleball, Momma spends her golden years terrifying the tourists. And these structures aren't just relics. Chickees are still built today for cultural events and even swamp survival training. During World War II, the US military actually studied these out here to learn how to live in environments like this. And for me, stepping out of the loud airboat onto these boardwalks felt like entering another world. Everything was suddenly quiet except the birds, the wind, and it was easy to imagine what life must have been like out here over a century ago. And hey, if you're enjoying this little adventure and like to see stuff like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more Florida adventure stories to tell just like this one. The airboat ride itself lasts for about 40 minutes or so. Then back on land, your admission also includes the Miccosukee Indian Village. There's a little museum here that has native artifacts, native art, and stories of the tribe's history, from resistance during the Seminole Wars to modern day traditions. And right outside, there's a little outdoor cafe here where you can get burgers, hot dogs, bison, venison, and yes, of course, even gator nuggets. I've had them before, I didn't try them this time, but if you're feeling brave, they're going to happily let you eat the thing you just saw out there on the tour. The village also has a gator habitat and daily shows with trained handlers. We didn't stick around for that this time. The next show was 2 hours later and we didn't really have time, but it's an option if you time it right, and from what I've heard, it's definitely worth catching. So what's an airboat ride through the Everglades really like? Well, it's going to be part thrill ride, part history lesson, a little bit of a cultural showcase, and in one afternoon we skimmed across the river of grass, met a 55-year-old swamp legend, and stepped into a piece of Florida's living history. This really is kind of a Florida bucket list thing, and it's one of those experiences you can only have here. And this is just one small corner of the Everglades. The park itself is 1.5 million acres. That is about twice the size of the state of Rhode Island. It's one of the most important wetlands on the planet, and seeing even just a small slice of it from an airboat really shows you just how wild Florida can still be. And if you've enjoyed coming along for the ride, please do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more Florida adventures coming your way, from the theme parks to the state parks. Please stay safe out there, and I will see you around the Sunshine State.